Not too bad of a gun, but like, that was a nice flick. Oh my gosh, I'm crazy. So hello gamers and welcome back to another Phantom Forces video. Today we're going to be ranking every single AK. Also the chat, I don't even know what's going on here. Hey yo, look at that. Okay, my attention span is going doo-doo fart mode. So yeah, we're ranking every single AK. Very weird intro today. So basically, our first AK is the AK12. Now the AK12, its burst is getting a nerf, so the hyper burst is going to be even more annoying to use because lately it's been really difficult to hyperburst this thing. But yeah, automatic at 700 RPM, so a little bit faster, especially for an AK, but the damage is 33 to 20, which is a 4-shot to a 5-shot. Not very good, but like, it's got that super armor piercing, very little recoil. You guys know this. I have a best setup video on this gun already. Overall, not too bad. The hyperburst is what makes it good, but without the hyperburst and the hyperburst being very nerfed at this point, I'm gonna have to give this gun probably a 7 out of 10. What made it like a 9.5 or a 9 out of 10 is the 1000 RPM hyperburst, but that's not really viable anymore, so in my opinion, it just can't get that anymore. Maybe a 7.5. Not too bad, but I prefer like pretty much every other starter gun to the AK-12. Now we're on to the good old AK-47. Alright, so this gun normally does 42 to 30, so incredible damage for range and up close. It can actually 2-hit kill very easily. All it requires is 1 shots to the limbs or torso, I believe, and 1 shot to the head, which means like 2-shot pretty easily. However, if you run hollow points, it can actually 2-shot anywhere on the body and can still 4-hit kill all ranges. It only has 600 RPM and it does have quite a bit of recoil. If you're on Kosaku folding grip, then it's actually pretty good. This is mostly camera recoil. Like the gun itself is actually pretty accurate. So I don't really recommend stubby grip, especially because it just has so much camera recoil. One of the few guns I do actually recommend folding grip on, which is surprising. You guys know me. I'm the stubby grip guy. I use stubby grip on basically every single gun because objectively speaking, stubby grip is actually better. I talked about that in my no recoil gun guide, but basically like it's still a pretty accurate gun, even though none of these attachments other than the compensator are actually lowering the recoil. I guess green laser technically is, but you know how it'll be with green laser. The lasers have like no effect on the gun pretty much. The only effective thing that I noticed is green laser like actual hip fire in general because it actually makes it 20% better, which I have a lasers guide. I don't know why I keep mentioning other videos. Like I have full videos on basically all these topics, but as you can see, even with hollow point, which reduces the minimum damage by like 5, it still kills very far. This gun default, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10, but I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10 with hollow point because 2 to 4 shots, 600 RPM, pretty accurate recoil, pretty good damage ranges, even pretty good pen with hollow point even, and in general, it's very good, but hollow point makes this gun so good. So next up, we have the AK-74. Now the AK-74, I'm running Kosaku comp stubby grip and remove stock because remove stock is actually pretty good on this. This fires a little bit faster than the AK-47 and has far less recoil. However, it just doesn't really hit that hard. It does 34 to 23 instead of 42 to 30, so way less damage. It cannot 2-hit even with 2 headshots, but it can 3-hit to the body, which is pretty good, and it's a 5-shot at range. It's not too bad, and the recoil is not too bad, and it does have super armor piercing, but this is just an easy gun to use. In my opinion, it's not like super good. Like, it's accurate, it's got super armor piercing if you want it. I don't really use it with super armor piercing because like the damage ranges are just kind of awful, and there's no reason to really use it with AK-12 with armor piercing. I mean, super armor piercing is just better because the 3-hit kill range is like 15 studs if you're running like AP or something. Overall, not a bad gun. I do have quite a few kills on it. It's a very popular AK, probably one of the easiest to use because it's just so accurate, but I'm gonna give this gun an 8 out of 10. It's not like super insanely good. Maybe 8.5. It's very accurate. Like this is with remove stock. It's just an accurate AK, which is kind of crazy for like the AK class. The fact you can run remove stock and still be accurate is so nice because on most guns it's just impossible to run remove stock, you know? But this gun just works completely fine with it. If you want even better recoil control, don't run remove stock, but if you want faster handling and movement, then this is good. And I do prefer to have like that faster walk speed. It's very nice to have that. You got that classic AK feel, but a little bit more RPM and way less recoil. I don't know, dude. Solid gun. 8.5 out of 10. It does pretty much everything solid. Default, it definitely competes with the AK-47 because of its accuracy and slightly more RPM, but with hollow point, the AK-47 can 2-hit kill to the limbs to 50 studs. It's one of the farthest 2-hit kill guns, but it's also like the fastest firing 2-hit kill gun and still has like a 30-round mag. But then we have the AKM, which I need a different setup for this. So my personal setup is optic of preference, comp stubby, green laser, and AP. This gun is very similar to the AK-47. It has about the same recoil, but far less camera recoil, so you can run stubby grip on it instead of folding grip, but it does have like slightly worse accuracy in general, so just keep that in mind. However, it has less camera recoil, so it feels more accurate, and it does 40 to 32, which means it's pretty much a 3-shot to the end of its max damage range, or min damage range. I mean, because of the fact it can pretty much 3-shot kill all ranges, you may as well run AP, which makes it very nice because you can get that extra pen. However, since it does less CQC damage and doesn't have a torso multi, you can't really get the same CQC performance as the AK-47, so worse hits to kill and stuff. However, not too bad if you're not running hollow points, but if you're running hollow points, points, AK47 is better. So overall, I would give this gun another 8.5 out of 10. It's definitely like a side grade to default AK47, but like I said, hollow point AK47, I said this a ton of times. It's just so good to use AK47 with hollow points. It beats all the other AKs, man. Next up, we have the AK103, which is basically just an AKM with slightly better accuracy and way worse damage. This gun isn't too bad. However, bars barrel is the main reason to use it. I use Delta, bars barrel, stubby grip, green laser, AP on this because it has even less downsides. I talked about this in my AP guns video. It's called the best guns to use armor piercing in Phantom Forces if you guys want to see that. This can 4-hit kill all ranges at 850 RPM, and it has kind of interesting recoil. It's not very accurate, but it's only horizontal recoil. So if you have problems like pulling down, this basically removes all of the skill from recoil and adds only RNG. So people say it's negative recoil, but that's not true. It's only horizontal, which means it's like not the opposite, different from regular recoil, but it can 4-hit kill all ranges, and it shoots very, very fast. Like the default gun is fine. It does have 5.56 on this, but I do not recommend 5.56 because you can't 4-shot kill all ranges, and 5.56 on AK107 is basically better. So not really too bad. I have like 1200 kills on this. It might literally be my highest kill AK, but I don't really use it anymore. I used it when this was pretty new. I'd give the default gun like a 7.5 out of 10, and with bars barrel AP probably an 8 out of 10. Not insanely good, but it's decent. Next up, we have the Type 88 or Type 58. Let's be real, the default gun is awful, probably like maybe a 6 out of 10, but the main reason to use this is with 7.62. 7.62 lowers your velocity, but increases your ranges, your pen, your damage, your RPM, and the recoil is pretty much the same for some reason. It's kind of similar to the bars barrel AKs, where it's mostly horizontal, but if you run long barrel, it can actually 3-shot kill to like a ridiculous range at 850 RPM. Like it feels like it shoots pretty slow, but that's not true at all. And it also reloads really fast, so it's not actually too bad with this. This gun got really popular for like 2 seconds and then just kind of stopped being popular. And it's funny because it was added Halloween 2020, and it's like the only gun from that update that I didn't make a video on because I just didn't really have the gun at the time. And it's not too bad. It's like very little camera recoil. Again, you kind of just aim at people until they die, but good 3-hit kill range. It's like the HK21 where like the recoil kind of just goes wherever it wants, but it's still like accurate enough that you can kill people. And overall, I'd give this gun another 8.5 out of 10. I feel like the AK47 hollow point is better, but this still competes with like the default AK47, the AKM, the AK103. Not really, the AK103 is worse, but this is a good gun. I mean, like I'm just walking around the spawn right now killing everybody. Like if you have trouble hitting shots because of camera recoil and you just want like a gun that kind of has recoil but like has like 0 camera recoil, this is the gun for you, man. And I don't know how I'm actually like getting any type of KD with AKs on Mirage, but that's fine. But next up, we have the battle rifle AK, known as the AK12 BR or AK12 battle rifle. This gun used to be like, I don't know, like a 9 out of 10 maybe because of the burst. Let's be real, it was really, really good. It could 3-hit kill so far at 1000 RPM and 4-shot kill all ranges, and the recoil with the burst wasn't even bad, especially with like muzzle brake stubby. Because bursts have so little horizontal recoil, you could just pop off with this gun. Now it's like a 700 RPM gun. I still prefer it over the AK12 because the base AK12 just doesn't do the damage for me, and it just doesn't feel that good, but this feels pretty good. It can 2-hit kill to the head to like probably 90 studs, 3-hit kill to the body to like 100 studs. That's pretty good recoil, really fast RPM for a battle rifle. This gun is really good still. I'm gonna give this gun another 8.5 out of 10. I feel like it's not super insanely broken. It used to be like a 9 or a 10, maybe a 9.5, but now it doesn't have that like super hyper burst. But keep in mind, it fires faster than like some of the AKs do, but it actually has like better damage than some of the AKs do, so it's pretty cool. Very, very good ranges, kind of slow reload time, and like not the best recoil, but overall very little camera recoil. It's not like bouncy like the AK47 is, which is nice. Yeah, 8.5 out of 10, pretty cool. Next up, we have the Carbine AKs. First off is the AKU12. 9mm used to be like the meta on this, but I don't know if it's so much anymore, so I will be running just a low recoil setup. This can 4-hit kill kind of far, like 45 studs. Not too bad for 800 RPM, but it does 19 minimum damage. 9mm you can 2-hit kill to the head, but it's only a burst, and it has kind of a big burst delay now, so I don't really use PPK12 anymore. It got a very deserved nerf because that thing was so OP, but basically, if you like something like the AK12 and want better CQC performance and more RPM and like faster reloaded stuff, this is not too bad. It's just not amazing. 9mm was probably like a 10 out of 10. It had less recoil, more damage, better range. There was pretty much no reason to not use it unless you were just bad at bursting. But it was the easiest burst to use in the entire game, except for like, actually maybe it was just the best burst in the entire game at the time. I don't know. Like, it was so easy to use. No burst delay, 1000 RPM. Pretty easy to just click. I don't know. I had no trouble with it. I'm not really good with burst guns. The default gun is not too bad, but we'll give the default gun a 7.5. It's not so awful that it's, like, completely unusable, but surprisingly enough, I'm actually getting kills at range with it. It's like a 19 min damage gun, but keep in mind, this is the lowest recoil setup on it, which is comp, stubby, and full stock, so not too bad, though. One of my favorite AKs. But next up, we have the AK12C, which is basically an AKU12 with better 3-hit kill range, better minimum damage, better pen, but shoots slower and has higher recoil. However, this gun has a very interesting quirk of reloading very, very fast. I don't know why it reloads so fast. It has a 1.9 second reload time, which if you didn't know, guns like the M4A1 are actually 1.8 second reload time. And if you guys know those guns, they reload very, very fast. So here's the reload time. For 30 rounds, that is so nice. Makes it great for feeds. It can 3-hit kill a little bit farther than the other gun, but the kind of annoying recoil, the slower RPM and stuff, is like, you pretty much may as well just use default AK12. This is basically just like an AK12, but better CQC performance, but more recoil and no burst. It's not completely unusably awful or anything, but it's definitely not bad. I've used it for a little bit and I like it, but it's just not like the best gun in the entire game or anything. Even though it has 21 minutes, like, feels a bit weak. Maybe give it like 22 min, or maybe better ranges. The main thing for this is like, it has less velocity than the AKU12, which the AKU12 is like the shorter barrel variant of this, so I'm not really sure why this gun would have less velocity than this gun. For 7.62 gun, this is actually like pretty low recoil, but just doesn't do the damage that other 7.62 guns do, so it's weird. Next up, you have the AK105. The default gun is so awful here because you have guns that have 600 RPM and do a ton of damage like the AK47, and then you have guns that shoot a little bit faster but do a bit less damage like the AK74, and then you have this which does neither. But if you're on bars barrel and it's the AK107 and 5.56, this is very good. It has pretty low recoil, lower than AK109. However, it does have same RPM and stuff. And 5.56 is basically a direct upgrade on this. So run 5.56 and you have a pretty solid gun with pretty little recoil, very easy to control because like you don't gotta control it. Basically an HK416, but a 35 round mag, more reserve ammo, and kind of weird recoil, but probably more accurate overall. So if you're a fan of like the HK416 RPM, I do recommend this gun. You might like it more than the HK416 if you don't like the HK416 recoil, because this gun has very easy to control recoil. I will let you know it's got pretty good recoil control. So overall, I'm going to give this gun another 8 out of 10. You know, not amazing. I feel like HK416 does beat it out if you're running hollow point on HK416, but yeah, it's definitely not bad. I did forget there's two other carbines that I will include. First off, the Groza-1. Groza-1, you gotta be running 5.56. And overall, I do have quite a few kills on this because I do like the Groza from PUBG, so I did use this a little bit, but with 5.56 it's pretty good. It can actually 2-hit kill head to like 50 studs, 3-hit kill body to like 55. 700 RPM is very loud though. It reloads pretty fast, has pretty low recoil, but kind of weird recoil. But man, this gun is actually so good. 5.56, as I've said in like my best conversions video, it's one of the best conversions in the game. It basically makes it a 6-shot kill at range, but gives it a 2-hit kill head and a 3-hit kill body. More pen, more velocity, and basically just makes it good. I don't know, this conversion is so good. I do recommend the conversion. Really no reason to not use it except for like a 6-hit kill at range, but it's not a big deal. As you can see, it shreds up close. 750 RPM. I feel like I gotta give this gun like an 8.5 out of 10. The 5.56, it is so good. This gun is actually kind of criminally underrated in my opinion because it just shreds through people. I guess I'm just maybe good with it because I did use it quite a bit in the past. I should probably just be using this more. It even has a 1.5x headshot multi. This gun is so good, man. And you have the Groza-4. Now the Groza-4 is not quite as good. Here's the thing about the Groza-4, right? It can 2-hit kill head and 3-hit kill body. However, Groza-1 5.56 can also do that with more RPM, more velocity, better handling. And this is just not an amazing gun. Like, shoots kind of slower, reloads kind of slower. I've talked about this. This gun does need a buff, but like, it's not too bad. It's probably one of my favorite gun sounds, and it's not too bad. If you guys are wondering why I'm ranking these because they are called the Groza, well, they're actually bullpup AK47us, which means they are AKs. In this video, I'm ranking AKs, RPKs, and what else? Like the Krinkov, because that's an AK47u. So basically, these are bullpup Krinkovs. They don't really look much like Krinkovs, but I guess they are. Recoil's not even that bad. Well, that's not even true. It's kind of a beam. Not gonna lie, it's very, very accurate. But like velocity's not too good. Damage range isn't too good. RPM is okay. I'm gonna give this gun a 7.5 out of 10. Let's be real, Groza-1 5.56, it just does it better, but this is not too bad. But now for PDW, we have the Krinkov. So the best ammo type for Krinkov is, in my opinion, 7.62, because default, it does 2-hit kill head, not that far though. However, if you run 7.62, it increases the RPM, increases the damage, and makes it 3-hit kill like 50 studs or something. No, like 60 studs, and 2-hit kill head to like 60 studs. And yes, it has like 800 RPM. Wow, it's loud. This gun default is not too good, but I feel like with this conversion, it's not bad at all. I'll probably give it an 8 out of 10. It does fire very fast. I don't know, 8 out of 10. It also does have 9mm, which is pretty nice because this still can 3-hit kill actually farther than default, and it has no recoil. I don't know why, but they decided 9mm conversion would be like same RPM but farther 3-hit kill range, better minimum damage, but no recoil at all. So if you like this gun and you're like, oh, I might want to run 7.62, but I don't like recoil. Well, this is kind of like that. Can't 2-hit kill head, but it can 3-hit kill to the body. I guess default can 2-hit kill head, but not too bad of a gun, but like, that was a nice flick. Oh my gosh, I'm crazy. If you guys want me to do like Russian gun review, I can review things like the SVU and stuff, but the last things we're just doing is the RPKs. First off, we have rpk12. This gun used to be a 10 out of 10, but now I just can't use it at all. To begin with, I never really used it, but I understood why it was so good. I've talked about this in multiple videos. You guys know about this gun. It's just like AK12, but big mag, you know, and had that 1000 RPM. Doesn't have that anymore. It's pretty good still. We'll still give it an 8 out of 10. It has an AK47 reload, but 45 rounds, tons of reserve ammo, very low recoil. It's very good still. Then we have the RPK, which default is okay, but really I'm just gonna give this gun 9.5 out of 10 because it actually has hollow point and it does the exact same thing as the AK47, but kind of better. Bigger magazine, more reserve ammo, farther to a kill range, better minimum damage, I think more velocity, I think the same pen, but like lower recoil as well. This is another gun where it's like, you gotta be running this if you want to just pop off. I use this in Infection because think about it, it has 240 rounds but can 2-hit kill, so basically you can kill 120 zombies with it, so it's also still very, very accurate. I talked about this in new best gun in every category. This might be the LMG meta once the RPK12 nerf hits because like 2-hit kill anywhere, dude. Good recoil, pretty fast reload time. None of the other LMGs can 2-hit kill body, so this might be pretty good. But then we have the rpk74. Now the rpk74 is a mix between the RPK and the rpk12. It does 36 to 24, which is not too bad actually, and it has kind of bonkers damage ranges. I think they buffed it because 90 to 170, holy, this means it can probably 3-hit kill to like 100 studs. That is to the body, and it has 600 RPM and very little recoil. This is also going to be maybe meta. They also made it actually sound good again because it used to sound like pretty awful, but like this gun, like, oh my gosh, dude. It went from rpk12 meta to like the other rpk being meta, which is really cool. Like, do it kill head to like 90 studs as well? Holy, this gun is so good. Gosh, I'm going off every 2 seconds with this. I'm on a 53 kill game and I'm like switching guns every 2 seconds, man. Honestly, I'm gonna have to give this gun a 9 out of 10. I feel like they buffed it. I don't remember it having this much pen, this much velocity, this much damage ranges, and I don't remember it being this good, man. All right, so I feel like that's it. I guess we can talk about the arm pistol since it's based off of the AK47. But yeah, arm pistol is gonna get like a 7 out of 10. This gun is actually pretty good. Statistically speaking, it's very good, but recoil, man. It has 30 rounds with its extended mag, but a very fast reload, 800 RPM, 3 to a 5 shot. Kind of like an M4A1 upgrade in many ways, except for like the recoil's awful, but yeah, we'll give it a 7.5 instead of a 7. Is this to hold the secret nerf dart? You guys know that on like the retaliator and stuff. Put a nerf dart in this little hole. Anyways, gamers, if you guys did enjoy, that is every single AK ranked. Make sure to like and sub, but I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.